Bodymore Zero by Ian Kirkpatrick, a prequel to the Bodymore series, with epilogue by M.M. Morris. 1. You gotta learn to live a little, Reagan, Casey says as he opens the Riviera's trunk. Stacked in the back is my drum kit, his guitar, a couple of amps, and our usual show bag. A spare set of clothes for the both of us. Mine's just black jeans, black shirt. Simple. Lets me fade away, and that's how I like it. Casey, though. Sometimes he gets messy before the show. Usually he likes to flaunt it, but it's never hurt to have a spare set of clothes. We don't have a lot of gear. Our band's underground. I don't think anyone will ever sign us. Not because we're bad, but because I doubt anyone official would ever want to deal with Casey. He's not interested in taking orders from anyone, so that's fair. He also likes the idea of being an underground legend over attempting fame in a system that tries to shackle you with the belief that everyone else matters more than you. Write these songs, go to these parties, pay off these people, have this image. He's never been interested in that. He runs the show how he wants, shows up when he wants, and is who he wants to be. We don't even have a manager. It's just him setting gigs. Today, he already had a couple of girls waiting for us in the parking lot when we pulled up. They're both wearing ripped jean shorts and band tees. One has a snake wrapped around the triangle Badass Idiot Train logo. Casey said her name's Sadie. The other's in a black shirt with the logo printed all over it in faded gold. Her name's Monica. Yeah, Ralph, live a little, Monica says. She's standing beside Casey holding his guitar. Am I, not your type? Sadie says. You can tell me, I won't be mad. The evening light catches on her short bleached hair. That's not it. I don't think Reagan has a type, Casey says over me. For as long as I've known him, he's never gone for anything, you know? Won't do hookups. He's a true romantic. His smile's charming. Blonde hair tied in a ponytail. It's long enough to flow over his shoulder. Bright, but natural. He's seemingly effortless in everything he does. Always is. His voice is silk regardless of whether he's flirting or fighting, and the way his body moves commands attention. Casey's always had so much charisma it draws people to him. Or a freak, Monica says. I was hoping that maybe I could break him of that, Sadie chuckles. Her elbow bumps into my side, drawing my eyes to her as I step back. Tell me, Ralphie, is it true? Are you a freak? She smiles as she closes the space between us again, her hands moving down my arm until her fingers have hooked in the belt loops at the front of my pants. With a gentle yank, she tugs my hips toward her. The impulse is there. Disgust. The wrongness of it causes a sickness that's not just nervous coils in my stomach, but repulsion. She's pretty. All of the girls Casey brings back are. But it's like they're wearing a mask, and I can't ignore the ugliness that's trying to show itself. Shadows on her face, darkness under her eyes that isn't makeup, and the gleam that sparks in her irises. She doesn't want me. She wants whatever thing she sees in me. Her, Monica, every other girl who's been just like them. It's hard to put into words, that feeling of someone looking at you, craving you, but really, they're dreaming of who they want you to be, and it's the opposite of who you are. My throat tightens through my laugh. I grab hold of her wrists as they get closer to my fly and push her hands away. My breath comes out heavy as I turn toward the trunk, trying to laugh again. No, thank you. I pick up one of the drum boxes and move as quickly as I can to put space between Sadie and me. I need a setup for the show. Sadie pouts her bottom lip. Come on, Ralphie. I'm just playing. I don't mean anything by it. Unless you want me to. But you know, you're cute. Why bother being cute if you don't take advantage of it sometimes? I'm sorry, is all I manage. I don't know what she wants to hear, but I know that I can't think fast enough to say what'll make her satisfied. The situation has happened so many times before, and I've never gotten any better at managing it. Saying I'm not interested in this kind of attention is never enough. They don't believe me. You ever wonder if he's like this because he's got a crush on you, Casey? Monica says. Casey chuckles. I've heard that rumor, too. It's not that. I smile politely at both girls. Then what is it? Sadie says. I'm taking a step back. Her eyes are locked on me, but so are Monica's and Casey's. He's grinning through his cigarette he's got pressed to his lips. It's not anything special, I say. I've got to get ready for the show. Equipment, sound test, you know. So, what about after? Sadie says. I don't think so, I say. Sorry. People are talking about you, Ralph Reagan, Monica says. It's fine, I say. You're really okay with it? Sadie says. I'm expecting Casey to say something. I don't know why. He actually thinks it's kind of funny. The rumors are mostly just how people think of me, what they think I think of him. But it's never about what he is, and if it ever was, he'd beat the rumors out of him. A weak chuckle comes out of me. It's nothing I haven't heard before. Rumors are rumors, and that's it. You're too kind, Reagan, Casey breathes out. Letting shit run wild? It's your name. You know what this kind of shit gets ya? A reputation? Monica says. Bingo. Casey's tongue flicks across his bottom lip. And believe me, you don't want the kind of things they're saying about you to be what you're known for. Take it from me. I got rumors for days, and they haven't always been the fun stuff. Sure, there's the rioting, the fighting, people giving themselves scars to pledge their allegiance to me. All rumors, of course. But then you got the annoying shit where the pigs have been tailing me since I was 15. Why? Because my dad moved to Florida and they don't want to believe it. Since when has the city given two shits about parentless kids? I mean, you're proof of that, yeah? So why do I get the third degree from my dad's retirement? Fuck off. The city will claim as much property as it can so it can put saps like us on the streets for no reason. What would they do with my house if they took it from me? Fucking nothing. They'd just like to see us on the streets, because once a piece of shit, always a piece of shit. Casey nods, speaks into his cigarette, and turns away as he puffs. There's heat on the back of my neck, pooling from my cheeks. I can't keep looking at him or the girls. You know why it's so uncomfortable when you look people in the face? Because to some extent, you can read their thoughts, and even people who like you are judging you in ways that you don't want to see. The tightness in my throat loosens with an awkward chuckle. My neck's itchy. Calling for a scratch, I can't give it because my hands are full. I just play the drums, Case. We live together, yeah, but so do a lot of brothers. Right, Casey says. Brothers do a lot of other things too, Ralphie, Sadie says. You gotta prove that's not you. I need to go. I turn away and make for the venue. Sadie's voice comes out in a whining purr that she's not trying to hide from me. He's really not interested in girls at all? Is he a virgin? I don't know, Casey says, but I wouldn't be surprised. Poor baby, Sadie says. He know that we can fix that, like, real quick, right? Does he seem kind of sad to you? Monica says. Maybe a little, yeah, but maybe he's just a moody broody, Sadie says. That's a musician thing. Their voices disappear behind me as I leave the parking lot. With the distance comes the ability to breathe again. The parking lot where the workers used to park is also overgrown, but it was partially cleared out in preparation for the show. There's a larger parking lot to the north of the building, over the bridge, and a small trek through the trees and past the other buildings. A cement pipe big enough to crawl through sticks halfway out of the ground by the short cement wall that surrounds the rest of the property. The venue's a once abandoned plant on the south side of Baltimore near Chesapeake Bay. Now it's been reclaimed as an unofficial concert venue for underground acts and what the city sometimes calls troublemakers. There are multiple buildings. By the parking lot are a couple of single-room structures that no longer have walls. Now they appear as metal-roofed gazebos or covered eating areas. During shows, people bring barbecues and mobile bars to sell concessions and good memories. The floors are made of cement, and in places, fire pits are set up with chairs. The main building is connected to water. 5 stories tall, it's overgrown and covered in graffiti. The walls are like guest books for the vagabonds who have visited them over the years. As crazy as it sounds, it feels like a way of talking to my neighbors or them talking to me in ways they couldn't otherwise. History, wishes, past, present, future. We've played here a couple of times, and every time we come, the graffiti's changed. Immediately across from the main building are a couple of smaller cement buildings. They're used for staff to take breaks, hide, and store gear. I think it used to be an office building. After being abandoned for so long, it's hard to tell. The stage manager, Craig, is standing in the courtyard in front of the main building, phone in hand. Ruby is standing beside him. She's not holding her bass guitar, so she may have already taken it to the stage. As I approach, I wave, and she waves back. She's petite but muscular. Her arms are displayed by the band tank she's wearing, the armholes cut low to expose her sports bra underneath. She's wearing low-cut skinny jeans held up by a studded red belt. Her dark brown hair's short and pulled into a low ponytail. She has a nose ring and a couple of small hoops down her left ear. "Hey, Ralph," she says. "Where's the asshole, or is he running late again?" "He's in the parking lot still," I say. "Getting into a fight?" "Talking to some girls." "Well, thank God he's here at least." She rolls her eyes. "Hey, Ralph," Craig says. "Let me know if you need anything, yeah?" "Of course," I say. "I'll show you to the green room," Craig says. "They're waiting for you on the stage whenever you're ready." "Thank you," I say. Craig leads and Ruby follows along beside me. The first office building across from the main venue belongs to the staff. Tickets, backstage passes, guest problems, and small medical issues. Our room is actually an old office at the back end of the main building. Inside are two metal desks from decades past, pushed against the wall to create a makeshift makeup counter. Heavy, rusted, but the fairy lights strung over them make the scene appear rustic and industrial over run down. There's a plush but faded couch across from the desk. It's the kind that you'd expect from a thrift shop that looks comfortable and might be hard to get out of once you sit down. Extra chairs are folded against the wall, stacked beside each other. Maybe for the venue, maybe for the covered dining area, maybe just for extra storage. Above the metal desks are a couple of mirrors lined with more fairy lights. A lamp at the end of one desk in the corner makes up for the overhead lights being so weak they cover the room in a gray wash. Against the east wall is a moving clothing rack, empty but for a couple of hangers. Mixed across the walls are band posters from previous shows and a spread of graffiti. I can't tell if the writing is the building's past life of abandon or more guest souvenirs. Scratched into the room's metal door is D.O. and R.A. Penciled into the wall beside the mirror farthest to the left it says, "Ruby S. left." Written into the makeup counter is, "Good show, Spitfire, you know what to do." On the wall behind the clothing rack, alongside graffiti of a small eye, a raven, a gang tag, and Bodymore build-up, it says, "What is your name?" "That new?" Ruby gestures to the graffiti. "I don't remember it being there last time." Craig stands in the green room door, chuckling. "It's Baltimore, baby. Turn your back for a second and someone new's tagging shit up. Sometimes I think a lot of us here are just desperate to not be forgotten. Makes it feel like you matter, even for a second, you know? At least you exist." "I guess," Ruby says. Casey taps Craig on the shoulder, though he pushes past him into the room without giving Craig time to move. The girls he'd been talking to in the parking lot aren't with him. "Can't believe you left me behind, Reagan." "Sounds like you were busy," Ruby says. "Oh, come on, that makes me sound like a slacker." Casey leans his guitar against the wall and takes in the room since the last time we were here. The tables have been still for so long there's dust on the floor by their legs in the drink cooler. "You kind of are," Ruby says. "Funny, I still get more shit done than you," Casey says. "Starting fights in the parking lot isn't getting shit done." "Yeah?" Casey snorts. "Who brings people to the show, you or me?" He leans down to open the cooler. A bottle of water comes out. "You want one, Reagan?" "Yeah, thanks," I say. Casey tosses me the water he grabbed, then moves his attention to Ruby. "What about you?" "Sure," Ruby says. A bottle's tossed her way next. Then he grabs one for himself. "You want to help with sound check?" "Don't need to." Casey snaps the plastic seal on his bottle. The cap falls to the floor. The bottle's at his lips. There's confidence in his every movement. "Suit yourself," Ruby says. "I'll make sure they've got your mic on mute. And I'll make sure everyone knows where to start when they want to riot. Asshole. Cunt. I'm gonna help Ralph set up. Have fun." Ruby picks up Casey's guitar from where it's leaned against the wall and follows me out of the green room. The metal door screeches as it pushes against the rusty hinges. The sound echoes down the hall, amplified by the concrete. Ruby grabs the door behind me, opens it further, then slams it shut. "God, he's such an asshole." Ruby catches up beside me. "He's not that bad." Ruby chuckles weakly. "The fact that you say that means that you've been living with him for too long." She pauses, checking my expression. I'm not trying to be mean, but that guy doesn't care about anything. You wouldn't be the first to say that. He's holding you back. You'll be lucky if he doesn't get you killed sometime soon. He cares about things. What, like himself? Ruby chokes on her own laugh. I get that he's an acquired taste. Acquired. How long have you known him exactly? 7 years. He any different now than he was when you met him? He's not always so bad. The sounds of codependency. He's got you wrapped around his little finger, Ralph. Ruby lifts her pinky to wiggle it in front of us. Her hand slides down my back. The side that she's on bubbles with heat, embarrassment, shame. I look the other way. I know what she's saying. I just didn't think Ruby would go there. She's always been more gentle about the relationship Casey and I have. I get that it's kind of weird, but we're not the only weird thing about this city or the scene or the families around here. At least, that's what I've heard. Ruby doesn't talk about her family much, but she's mentioned how her little brother is a freak sneaking into her room and taking her things, selling them to whoever is willing to buy. She figured her younger brother is already a pothead with an addiction problem when she said, "He steals my underwear and Mom's wallet too. Dad won't beat sense into him because Dad beat himself out of the family a long time ago. Probably saw Drew's disappointment coming and pieced out, but fuck, he's big. So there's nothing that we can do. Told Mom to try a restraining order, but she's too much a bleeding heart to kick him out. The guy's 19. It's not cruelty, it's a reality check. Everyone's got family issues and will put up with different things. Ruby might not like how Casey is, but it's a normal that I'm used to, and it's something I don't mind. She doesn't have to put up with what I do, and I don't have to live with her family either. It is what it is. I'm just saying, if Casey doesn't knock this shit off, I might have to look for a new gig, Ruby says. I'm not about to be pulled into whatever criminal enterprise he's eventually going to get wrapped up in because he's horny for risk-taking. I'm not one of those girls who goes for that shit, and I've seen ads at Skids. A lot of bands need a bassist. It's a thankless position. People say it takes no skill, you kind of fade into the background. Virtually no one wants to be a bassist, you just end up there. I've seen people looking for a drummer too. She glances sidelong at me. You do yourself a favor by detaching yourself from Casey sooner rather than later, because lately all I see when I look at him is a crime scene. I'm not that easy either. Trouble's always followed me too. Yeah, but you're not a narcissistic asshole. Anyone would be happy to have you. I laugh weakly. Every moment I've spent alone comes to the forefront of my mind. The families who have wanted nothing to do with me, the bruises and cuts and broken bones left behind by siblings who wanted to make the message clear. Honestly, I think the only reason Ruby likes me is for the same reason the girls Casey brings back pay me any mind. Whatever attracts people to him rubs off on me by virtue of proximity. Right, I say. It might sound stupid for me to say that no one would notice me if not for Casey. I don't blame Ruby for seeing things the way that she does. She never knew me before Casey, and I wouldn't want her to anyway. What's your name is on the wall again. I wonder if she sees it too. That specific phrase has followed me around for as long as I can remember. I've wondered if it was some kind of joke. I'm so unmemorable that even the city I was born in doesn't know who I am. I wonder if I told it my name, would anything change? The thoughts of a wishful child. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or anything, Ruby says. It's your life, he's your brother, but you should know the longer you're around him, the more likely you're going to get dragged with him when he goes down. What makes you think I'm not going to be the one to drag him down? Really? Ruby chuckles. Her elbow hits my arm. I doubt you could hurt anyone if you tried. She's confident in that. But it's not always on purpose that someone hurts someone else. I don't think Casey hurts me on purpose most of the time. He gets ahead of himself. He's not thinking. He acts on impulse, and sometimes those impulses pay off. I know he doesn't mean it when he says or does something that hurts me. He just doesn't understand me sometimes, and that's okay. We walk down the hall to the main room of the plant where the generators and machines and majority of the days would have been spent when this place was active. Now it's turned into a room with a stage made of movable platforms like a black box theater. The ground is mostly cement with speckles of neon-colored paint that glow under the black light. Extension cords race along the walls, almost giving a feeling of veins running through the body of the building, taped out of the way, under the ground, hidden beneath mats to keep the soon-to-come guests from tripping over them while drunk. It happened at the first concert we played here. Casey wound the audience up so much that it turned from a mosh pit into almost a riot. A fall turned into a shove, turned into a punch, and then the body of people became waves of fighting against each other for reasons no one understood beyond someone was getting shoved and they needed to shove too. The heat of the room cooled down when someone tripped over the power cord that connected the sound system to the black lights at the entrance. Since then, more of the venues have been hard wiring for what's used most often, and any exposed wires for things that move around frequently are secured and hidden. The glow of neon color is partially washed out by the normal work lights, coating the concert halls in a sterile gray. The walls are something different. Almost none of the original gray is visible under the kaleidoscope of art. Behind the stage is a wall covered in eyes. The word vocal is large, centered in the bullseye. A mouth is on the roof near the ceiling with a la 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 running in different directions. The production catwalks overhead have been switched for use by the venue to stage catwalk. Wrapped around the booth is a welcome and mommy and hee 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 hee. Surrounding the large window is a yellow face. The window has been turned into a giant pair of sunglasses. A smirk and a joint hang out beneath it. Someone's voice comes from above. A greeting from the stage crew. Ruby says, "Yo!" in return. There's a kind of sadness in the air that's always been here. It's all over Baltimore, but you can't really describe it. We feel it, but think of it in a different way. I only know because I've tried to explain it too many times. I sound crazy and desperate and, I don't know, weird. I stopped asking about it in second grade when I figured out people didn't like it when that feeling was brought up. Uncomfortable, scary. If you pretend it's not there, then you can say everything's fine. Feelings are easy to reject as overthinking. There's no evidence, you know? So it's all in your head. Ruby cups her mouth with her hands as she shouts to the tech booth. "We're loading in now." Yeah. A muffled voice reaches from the platform across the stage. "Let me know when you're ready for sound check." Ruby lifts her thumb. "Roger." She sets Casey's guitar down on the stage and climbs off the platform. "I'll help you with your drums. They bring anything in yet?" I survey the stage. There's little here from the car but Casey's guitar and the box I just brought in. "I don't think so. Looks like those girls Casey had at the car didn't move anything." The purring of a bird draws my attention to the catwalk. A big raven sits on the railing, peering down with dark red eyes like small lights hiding among the tech. "Typical." Ruby clicks her lips. Her arms clap around my shoulders as she gives me an encouraging pat. "Whatever. We'll do it without his help. Like always." I nod and we move. We're outside on the grass at the back of the power station. Trees rustle from the soft wind blowing through them. There's something different in the air tonight. It feels hot, heavy, sharp, already smelling of blood and iron. There's an electricity to it that gives me a feeling that I shouldn't stand around for too long. My cheeks burn. I press my fingers to my face, feeling the chill in them. I don't know if I'm hot or it's the outside, but my hands are telling me that it should be colder. "You okay, Ralph?" Ruby says. "Your face is looking a little red." "Yeah, I just..." A soft caw comes from overhead. It's the raven from inside. Maybe. I think. He's big too. He's sitting on a pipe going around the outside of the building on the third floor. A couple gurgles follow, multiplying against the trees around the power plant. It's not one raven on the pipe anymore. There are 3 now, then 4, then 5. 2 sit on the branch near the Riviera. A deep, metallic voice says, "Hello." He's not a stranger to me. Ravens have been following me around since I was a kid. But we're in Baltimore. This is their home as much as it is mine, and they've never been shy about letting us know they're here. I wipe my fingers across my forehead. There's no sweat. I can't be so bad then, right? Just a fever hot enough to make the air feel less nippy against my skin. "I'll be fine," I say to Ruby just as much as I'm telling myself. The heat usually comes on stressful nights when something's going on. Anticipation that something bad's gonna happen. At least, that's what I've noticed. But sometimes when you feel bad, you put too much focus on things to find patterns that aren't there. It's not a premonition. It's stress. Casey stays out late. I get a fever. Pre-show? Fever most of the time. Not that anything usually goes wrong with our shows, but I don't know what Casey's doing beyond knowing he likes to get into trouble before we go live. Every minute he's not doing sound check or tuning his instrument or helping set up means he might be getting into trouble. Ruby calls me codependent. Maybe I am. Maybe that's all I'll ever be. But that doesn't stop the fevers. They go away when the night's over and everything calms down. The sun's still up, peeking through the trees, somehow giving the leaves a purple glow. The air's chilly again, getting colder as the darkness sweeps in. One of the ravens says my name, or makes a sound that's too much like it. A chill goes down my spine. I survey the trees. It's not just the birds. There's something about the trees that doesn't feel right. Shadows like fingers reach through the grass at the edge of the parking lot, clawing at the overgrown asphalt. It's only branches, but the leaves run into each other like snapping fingers making a threat. The cracking is aggressive. It feels like something's tugging at the front of my shirt, urging me closer. I stumble toward the pole. "Ralph?" Ruby says. "What's up?" I turn to her. "Sorry, I thought I heard something." "And your first inclination was to go toward it?" Ruby chuckles. "I don't feel like I should have to remind you, but that's how you get stabbed." I glance toward the ravens and the trees again. Their glossy black eyes reflect the rising moon, turning their stares into stars hidden among the leaves. "I know." I rub my neck. "I guess it just feels like an odd kind of night." "I think it's this place." Ruby nods toward the plant. "I always get kind of sketched out when we're here. The dead are like half the residents of this city, and our favorite venues are graveyards, but like, for real. Sometimes I wonder if the scene is the same everywhere else, you know?" "Yeah." She laughs, and without waiting, she pops the Riviera's trunk open and grabs one of the amps. Her help makes it easier to get everything inside. When my kit's put together, the stage manager calls from the booth. "Casey coming?" I look at Ruby. She shrugs, shakes her head. The same dance she's done for the last couple of months to say that she doesn't know where Casey is and we shouldn't bother waiting. He wasn't even in the green room last time we went past it. I check my phone. He's not answering his text messages either. None of it's concerning when this is his usual, but that's never made me feel any better. I press my fingers to my cheeks. They're on fire to my icy fingertips. He's probably busy with his pre-show routine, I say. "That's one thing to call it," Ruby chuckles. "It's fine. We'll do what we did last time," I say. "You remember the volume difference?" 30% lower than whatever you need?" I give a thumbs up. This isn't worth panicking over. We've done it more times without Casey than with him at this point. We only had a couple of shows earlier on that didn't go very well. Casey didn't mind. The audience was generally too into the shows to care about the messed up sound, and Casey dealt with whoever had complaints after the show. It didn't really matter. After the sound check, Ruby and I wait in the green room as the concert hall fills with noise, anticipation, and the smell of alcohol. The night bleeds in. Beats from the pre-show music leak into the room with us, though the thick cement does a good job of blocking some of it. I keep looking at my phone expectantly, but knowing better. There's nothing that he would say during pre-show. There's no reason to answer his texts. He knows what he's doing, and I know I can trust him. He's never let me down.